Hey guys, my name is Ivan with Nick's Handmade Boots. I'm joined here
with Nate.
and welcome to the Cutter's Corner. Today we're hoping to go over and touch base with you guys on some of the leathers that we currently have and leathers that we currently acquired. Hopefully can go over some of the finishes, certain characteristics on them. Just to point out a few things, hopefully answer some of your questions. Also, hopefully put your mind at ease on maybe some of the things that could look concerning on the finish and which could be just
minor defects.
Minor defects, yeah.
Here we have the double stuffed slate. So the first thing that we look at when we grab one of these, especially our double stuffed, is we see a lot of these big stretch marks. They are natural. They're going to show how, that the life of the cow. You get a lot of them in the neck.
It's more aggressive in the neck area because they, the animal turns, turns their neck more frequently.
Yep. The first thing that we're doing when we look at a hide is we find any aggressive ones will tend to be weak. I'm not feeling a lot of weakness here. If they are weak, we try to put them in areas that will be reinforced or just avoid them entirely for our boots. The vamps and counters are always going to be coming out of the butt area of the hide. You have the butt and the neck, and then this is the first front legs and shoulder. And we always look for, we try to keep our toe boxes as clean as possible here. We try to avoid something like that on the toe box. If it's on the side or the blucher of your boot, then it's less of a worry.
So certain things like that could be like bug bites, deep bug bites that actually puncture the top grain. It could be warts. It could be scrapes.
Or you have barbed wire marks sometimes from an animal itching his backside, or even more commonly its neck.
Yeah. So another thing we would want to go over on the double stuff leathers, it is a veg tan natural finish. You will see a lot more. It'll show more character. So it's
especially in our natural color.
Yeah, it's that much easier to see every stretch mark, every scar, blemish.
It is not a corrected grain leather, so you're not going to see like with our black Chrome XL. That is technically a corrected grain leather. So you'll get a lot less bug bites. You'll get a lot less scarring. Some scars are still too deep to correct, but with this double stuffed, you get, see if I can find one or two. You'll get minor things like this. This is probably from barbed wire here. Minor scars. Nothing to worry about. That is purely cosmetic. A lot of people, like Luke Larson, he loves scars in his boots. He actually requests us that we start his boots backwards, so that he can get as much character into his boots as possible.
So subtle stretch marks like this, also, they're not structurally compromising. So, I mean, unless you get into something more aggressive, and you can actually feel, you can kind of feel some of these, they're going about almost like half into the...
You'll often feel them on both sides.
Yeah.
So I can feel it here, and I can feel it here. And it tends to be just a little bit weaker. Like this one here. This one's a little bit weaker. I can actually feel it press underneath as I push my finger up. Another leather that is, I think, shows scars really, really well is our Predator Orange. This one also has some, we call it bleach. Every now and then you'll get this coming from a hide, from the tannery. It's something that we always try to avoid because we've had customers complain like, oh, why does it look like somebody spilled bleach on my boots, or something like that. And with the Predator leathers, pretty much any Predator leather, Predator Natural, Predator Orange, Steel, my boots are steel, the scars like this, that's a scar from the life of the cow. I think they just look better on Predator.
Yeah, it almost like complements it.
It's like I've been referring to it as like a a Jeep Wrangler, they just look better with dirt on them.
Yeah.
Just like Predator orange here, just looks better with scars.
So the character isn't structurally.
No, no,
No,
no.
especially this. This is just
So
visual.
the white here is perfectly on point.
Mm-hmm.
Structurally, it's perfectly on point. It's just pure cosmetic with the way it was finished here. So
How about like scars or like bug bites? How would you know it wouldn't be a problem in the future, like during lasting?
so certain scars. Let's take a look if we can find something here.
So if we showing this is our most recent batch of Predator orange, you can see a little bit of difference in here. Right away, there's these scars here.
Yeah. So these scars here, even though they are pretty long, pretty big, they're pretty well healed. So I mean they're not gonna really crack or pop or any of that stuff. And if you look at the flesh side, it's perfectly intact. There's nothing underneath here that is indicating that. See, like
yeah, like that.
Yeah, anything like that, or this would be a vein, but there's nothing underneath that it's compromising. So this is just a surface scar.
The way that we would test to see if it's going to break or pop in lasting, we just press on it with our own hands, and we look for anything that separates.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of attention to detail and looking really closely at hides and really learning what's compromised, what's not an issue at all.
So yeah, most scars, they might look like it's a pretty big deal. They might look concerning, but for the most part, structurally they don't have any nothing really compromising. Like things like this, obviously you want to avoid. That's like a little gash that happened.
Yeah, probably butcher marks.
Yep.
Tannery is referred to those as butcher marks. So when they separate the hide from the animal, sometimes somebody's not paying attention to how their hand's placed, and they leave these big gashes like this. And in many of our some other leathers that we have, you'll see quite a bit of them. You get these long butcher marks, and those are almost always a weak spot. They will break or fold, or even if I push hard enough, I can put my finger all the way through.
And sometimes we get a scar here where you can pinch it, and either it didn't heal properly, or what you could kind of tell it's kind of starting to separate. That's also something you want to avoid, especially like if it gets into lasting. If it gets pulled on, it could pop. But subtle scars like this, they're pretty much just cosmetic.
And you can see the difference too between this is an older batch and then this is a new batch. It's we call it a high variation leather. Every single batch is different. Every single batch you'll either get very, very orange, or you'll get very, very dark with that high contrast pull up.
This new batch is really actually turned out quite nice.
Yeah, I really like this dark.
It has that nice orange pull up too. That little darker undertone.
Yep.
Very happy with this one. Here's another leather we can look at. This is Italian Cypress Brown. So this one, as you can see, also has like a lot of cosmetic.
Very similar bleaching.
Yeah, going on here, just like it was on the Orange Predator. See this discolorations, and you could also see, just like on the
Let me get in the frame.
The double stuffed, we could start seeing the stretch marks pretty early.
And then another thing that people have asked about, especially with Cypress Color 8 and Cypress Brown, is that bunching, how the leather comes together and it kind of just looks like it's been wrinkled a lot.
Creased
up is very common for this Cypress. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to cause any breaks or excess stretching. It's just how this leather tends to be. It likes to crease up on itself. When you do worry about it is lower in the hide, where you have, there we go, some break, what we call it, where you actually have areas where the creasing isn't just bunched up, it's actually folded in on itself. So these two lines here are loose break, where the top grain has actually separated from the flesh and is bunched up.
Yeah.
Shrunken bison tends to have a lot of the butcher marks, like here. These are butcher marks. The knife was held unevenly when they were pulling it,
Removing the hide.
removing the hide from the animal, and it's just left these deep and weak spots. They're usually darker, and you feel the weakness, so we try to avoid those.
One thing you can look at here on the back of on the rough out, you see these deep creases that are coming around here. So it is where this nice pebbling is. So we have to be careful on these when we're cutting them out, because in these creases, it's a lot of like weak points. Mm-hmm. So it will really mess with the structure of the boot.
You can see this is tons of character on this. Things like this. It's like a little dark spot. This is probably a horsefly or something along those lines. Pushing on it, you can't see any breaking. So something like this on a quarter, we would probably be okay with. Still avoid that on a toe box.
Yep.
On the vamp, because it's not very pretty to look at. Some people love it, and they're more than welcome to get it on their boots. Another big scar. This scar actually has a bit of a line, a weak spot underneath it, so this would be avoided as well. I can actually feel the scar underneath. And this one, you can't see it, but you can feel it.
Yep.
And then you get these divots. I don't know what you call them. This is a weak spot throughout. So there's probably a bigger vein in the
it's kind of
grain of the leather. We get that a lot too in this shrunken bison.
Kind of like indents, like from something. You could also see a lot of natural scarring here. I mean, it's probably hard to see on the camera, but also you get gashes, which would definitely avoid.
Yeah.
This little kind of
really small breaks.
Yeah.
Actual breaks in it. We would avoid that entirely, or find a spot to where it's going to be reinforced and covered up, so that it won't break and separate. Embracing the imperfections helps us.
Like from customers.
If a character were to say, "Hey, I don't care about the scars, as long as they don't give structural damage to the boot," would really help us keep our pieces, our dies closer together. With this scar, let's say that a customer wanted that scar in their boot. I could set it here and here, and put it on both sides of that quarter, and I wouldn't have to dodge it. If I'm dodging it, then I'm having it separated and spaced out to where I'm not touching that scar at all, and then it just decreases how close these dies are, which would increases the leather that we're avoiding and not using, so it reduces our yield. Yeah,
I would say like we have a group of customers that don't really care for certain characteristics. Certain customers are kind of they're in the middle, and then we have a certain group of customers that really want their boots to be pristine. Mm-hmm. If we would to cut it just say just down the middle, kind of going through everything that's not compromising and picking up all the characteristics that are just cosmetic and not compromising to the boot structure. I mean, ideally we keep our dies, we do like a thing called 3-point contact, so we can keep tight groupings. Mm-hmm. So every time when we're cutting and say we come across something like that, which that is a break in the grain, so that's a blemish, so we have to avoid that. Yeah. Say we come across certain scarring, we could definitely cut into it and get more yield, but you're always like questioning, you want to kind of keep the boot as pristine as you possibly can. So again, we have 3 different groups of customers, and you're always trying to be, yeah, it's like, I guess.
Trying to keep everybody happy.
Yeah. So you
In
kind
an
of,
ideal world, we would just go end to end
yeah,
and not have to worry about anything.
yeah,
But with working with a biological material,
Yeah.
it is never going to be ideal. It's never going to be a perfect hide. So we have to, do with
have to improvise.
have to improvise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep talking about like Bear Grylls, have to adapt, improvise, and overcome.
Yeah.
With every single hide, it's keeps you on your toes. This job.
Yeah, and every site is unique. That everybody gets no, 2 pairs of boots are the same.
Yeah.
Everything, every detail, every little characteristic makes it different. Which is
Truly so. Like,
cool.
they're never the same. They're
Yep.
always going to have, even if they come from the same hide, the boot that I get here and the boot that I get here is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Entirely different.
As far as worrying about imperfections and cosmetics and stuff, that's what we do. We avoid those for you. So if you see a scar on your upper, it's just nothing to be afraid of. It's not going to compromise the structural integrity of your boot.
Yeah.
We
know that we've checked it.
Yeah, we don't. We really focus on the vamp. The vamp is, the most important part of your boot. So we focus on all the parts where you got more pressure, like when you're bending. So there's
mobility, higher mobility.
So we're looking out for all that. We're all making sure that boot is going to function properly, not have any breaks or inconsistencies anywhere. Yeah, like a first-time buyer of something that's in the middle, like a 6 to 7 ounce, is a good leather. Again, if you're doing work, if you're doing construction, or you're obviously in the field fighting fires or anything like that, 8 ounce leather is awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if you want like a super indestructible heavy duty pair of boots, I wear an 8 ounce daily boot. I've been wearing it for ever since they got built, and
like a year and a half right now.
And I take it everywhere. I wear it everywhere. It's comfortable. It's not wearing out. Like going through multiple pairs like of Merrells and this or so. This boot's staying strong.
I saw a customer say on one of our Facebook posts. He was like, "My uppers are 34 years old."
That's incredible.
And I was like, "That's insane. That's older than me."
Yeah.
Like, his uppers. He's probably been at 34 years. He's probably rebuilt his boots maybe twice or approaching twice. And to hear that something that we've made him has lasted longer than I've been alive is crazy. And it just goes to show how much attention to detail and dedication to quality that we actually put towards our stuff.
Yeah. Also, if you show love to your boots, you take care of them, you clean them, you oil them, they'll show love back to you. They can last a very long time as long as you properly take care of them.
It could be generational, honestly. You could like hand them down to your kids.
Yeah. We've seen some boots that.
I think we've heard of people doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do your research and know what you're trying to use your boots for.
And, that definitely helps.
You can't go wrong. That's it for the first episode of Cutter's Corner. If you liked it, let us know. Let us know in the comments, and hopefully we can do more of these videos. Educate you guys a bit more.
Yeah. See you guys in the next video.